If anybody tells you is initially is not afraid, is telling you a lie. The fear is there. I remember the day I resigned from Coca-Cola. It was one of the highest paying job, not only in Nigeria, in the world. But I walked out that I'm done. My friend, who is the CEO of one of the big companies today, called me and said, Tim, I hope you are not being teleguided from the village. How will you resign from Coca-Cola job? And I remember the day I went to tell my MD, he's a Russian. I went to Ikoyi to tell him this house. He looked at me. He said, this job that people are ready to die to hold, why are you walking away? So Marshall, are you sure of what you are telling me? And I said, yes, I'm sure. This is my forwarding address, number 5, Coca-Cola Kenya, and I'm starting on Monday. So the fear is there. People want to put fear in your mind. So I also had that fear, but in the midst of that fear, I had another man, another person who's my mentor. He just told me, say, Tim, you want my money or you want to continue in Coca-Cola? I said, I want to start this dream. If you want to start, show me your letter of resignation before I can invest money in that. So I would say it's the man who pushed me to the swimming pool. I will use this analogy for the younger ones. I also push so many young ones into the swimming pool today. So when I see them, okay, this, I don't know, just go ahead, push them into the swimming pool. So the fear is there. Number 2 is that you can also be overconfident. I remember what I told my mentor, is my chairman. I said, no, based on my training in one of the best schools in Europe and the US, I will break even in 6 months. You look at me and say, Tim, I'm investing in your business not because you are going to break even in 6 months. If you break even in 2 years, congratulations. So I broke for the first 3 years, we didn't make profit. I broke even after 3rd year. So you may be overconfident. So that's why the business people in business, if you go to Harvard now, they'll tell you that whatever an enterprise or a startup present as the year of his break even, multiply his time 3, and whatever he says is going to make, even in that year 3, divided it by 3. If he says he's going to make 100 million, divided by 3, he's going to make, if he makes 30, congratulations to him. If he says he's going to break even in 1 year, it's likely to be at 3 years. So the law of 3 in break even and profitability for business. The 3rd one is cash flow management, because they don't teach us in school. So all we know in school is just those theory. It's a whole lot to manage cash. Cash is the most tempting thing in the whole of this world, and that's why 9 out of 10 businesses, they run out of blood. And when there is no blood in your body, you die. So when there is no cash in a business, it's not about you are making cash. It's about, are you retaining the cash, and then is the cash coming in when you need it? So these are the 2 fundamental questions that confront entrepreneurs. The thing is, if there are no hurdles, everybody will be there. If it's that easy, you are not going to find that idea there. I remember some years back, the daughter of a late Bolaige, we are in a lecture like this, and she said she had a school. She said she went to her father one day, she was crying that this school thing is not working. She said she was just crying on the neck of the father, and the father was a frank person. He said the father looked at her and said, my friend, you better stop crying. If it was easy, before you are born, people have taken all the opportunities. You met the opportunity because it was not easy, and you on your own decided that you want to solve that problem. So the first point is that it's not a bed of roses when you want to go into entrepreneurship. In fact, the meaning of money is that money is a problem that you turn over. So when you solve a problem, when those things that you complain about, when you solve it, the reward for solving those problems is money. So one has to have that mindset that one, it's never going to be easy. If it's easy, it's not going to lead to money. And if it's easy, people have solved it before you are born. So that's number 1. Number 2 is not to stay too long. We call it in management analysis to paralysis. It's not to stay too long and continue to analyze. The first thing I did when I wanted to start this journey is to cut off the negative people. Because negative people, they are never going to allow you to start at all. That's why they call it startup. They will never allow you to start, because the negative people can be very intellectual people. They can be your professors, because the professors, they know everything. So if you confront somebody who knows everything, they are going to tell you why you are going to fail. So you don't need such people. You only need people who don't know everything. Oh, okay. It's likely to succeed. Yeah, there's a chance there. But when you say a professor, say, no, this, by the time you finish the analysis, you just get deflated, and then that's the end of your dream. So the first thing I did was to cut off. Even my own friends, I limited the people I talked to, at least for the first 4 years of the business. Because when I was crying, I would rather cry in the rain. I didn't want them to tell me, Tim, but we told you that entrepreneurship or startup is not something easy in this country. So I limited to where I cried. So I can have two faces. You can see this face crying to this fellow, because that fellow aligns with my ambition. But when I'm talking to another fellow, I have a bold face. So because I don't want him or her to discourage me. So finally, one must be disciplined. I remember when I started, all my friends know me. One, I'm not going to call you. Two, my text message, that was 10 years ago. My text message will not be more than one text. I became an editor because I'm going to re-edit. If I send something that's going to go 2 times, I'll edit it to ensure that it goes only once. So that why I will save money. So you must be disciplined. Finally, I'll give you this example. There was a day my own mentor asked me to go and pick him at this Akitola Williams house, about this Musa Center. I was coming from Ikeja. So as at that time, before I got to, so when I finished meeting with him, rain had already started. So he thought my car was any other car. So we came down. So he said, Tim, because you are coming, I already sent my driver home. He was living in FGC then. He said, you are going to drop me home. So when he entered my car, he said, I should wind up, because rain was already stopped. I said, no, this car, you have to choose one. Either you choose rain or you choose heat. He said, what's happening here, Tim? I said, I removed the AC in this car. That was my first day of business. He said, why? I said, because when we go for meetings, my driver doesn't know the headache I'm going through. He's going to be using that AC to enjoy himself, to enjoy the music. And I've told him 10 times, he will not listen. And I said, the only solution is to remove the AC from this car, so that once I go for a meeting, himself too cannot use the AC in the car again. He looked at me. He now said, so Tim, what are you now saying? I said, if I wind down, rain will beat you. If I wind up, heat will hit you. So it depends on where you are going. If you are going home, you can take rain. If you are going to your office, you can take heat. So for 2 minutes, he looked at it and said, Tim, I've never seen this kind of thing before. I said, so for till today, when we want to do it, he will tell me, Tim, is it heat or rain? So those are the things. So you have to be disciplined. Meanwhile, the fellow that is saying, I remove the AC, in Coca-Cola, every 3 years, they change our car to brand new one. But the music has changed. I have to change my dancing step. If I went into entrepreneurship with the Coca-Cola mindset, I would have failed. Because Coca-Cola mindset was international money, you could spend it. But this one is with your blood that you are making the money happen. So I cannot afford to live like a Coca-Cola person. So discipline and then perseverance, these are the ways to solve the challenges in entrepreneurship. One of the things I advise the younger ones today about things I didn't do well that they should do better. One of it is in terms of partnership. There was so much fear when we were growing up. There was so much fear that people would take away your business, people would take away your ideas. Those fears limit business. For me, I didn't do that aspect very well. And now the younger ones I mentor, I tell them to do it better than myself. You can actually, that's why we've never seen companies like building WhatsApp, building Google, building Microsoft in Nigeria. No, because that fear dominates the mind of the founders, of the visionary, and you cannot build a Google all by one brain. It's impossible. The guys who built Google, the two of them, Larry Page and Brian, they didn't have the money. It was their professors in university that put money there. But despite that, probably because their system is more structured than our own, so the owners of the ideas are still protected. If the owners of the idea are Nigerians, there won't be Google today, because it's going to hold on so tight to it that it's going to become very small. And that is the bane of businesses in Nigeria and Africa. And except we change that, we cannot actually have Microsoft, we can't have Google, we can't have all those companies that are now globalized. So there is no straight answer. People start like Apple, Steve Jobs and the other Steve. They also didn't have money. They only had the brain. One is a hardware person. Steve Jobs was a designer. The other Steve Wozniak was a coder, a software programmer, and they combined together. And they had another third friend, lawyer. So they didn't have the money. They went out to look for the money, and then. But yeah, the fear is true, because even Steve Jobs himself, they booted him out of the business and he almost went mad. So for 10 years, they took him out of Apple. And then until they couldn't run it again and they brought the founder back. So, but I don't want the youth in Nigeria I don't want them to be dominated by fear. So your chances of creating our own Google is higher when you don't hold on tight to your own business. That's one thing my generation didn't do well, which the coming generation should do well. Mentoring is very critical. In fact, about his time, he said, I see far because I stand on the shoulder of a giant. For me too, I stood on the shoulder of some giants, and that's why today I've also made my own shoulder available for so many young ones to stand on, because what mentors do for you is that they've passed through that pathway before, that road before, so they know where potholes are, so they can say, okay, watch here, watch there. So what can take you 5 years to achieve with quality mentoring or mentorship, you can actually do it in 1 year or 1.5 years. So, but one has to look for good mentors, not the people that will swallow you. It's people that genuinely, they want to multiply themselves. So for me today personally, I have an NGO tagged One Africa Initiatives. I have about 10,000 youth across Africa, from Ghana to South Africa to Morocco to Egypt, that I mentor. I organize master classes every month, once a month for them. And from my university in Ife, OAU, I also have another 1,000 tech people that I mentor regularly. So one of them was in my office, he's even waiting for me now. This young guy, Wale, I put his story on my Facebook today. He came yesterday and said, sir, we made $90,000 recently from blockchain. He's one of the youngest blockchain professionals in Nigeria today. He said we made $90,000 last month from blockchain business. So I met him about 3 years ago. He just walked in straight to my office, and he said this is the talent I had, and then we helped him, we brushed him up. That was during ASU strike. So he was home for a long time, 9 months. That time they were home for 9 months. So he used those 9 months to improve his skill on blockchain. So today, Wale is still in part 3 in the university, but he doesn't need a job again. If you go to my Facebook today, Tim Akano at Facebook, you see him there. He doesn't need anybody's job again because he's already working and he's making money. He's not the only one. There's another one, Akano, from Unilag. That one to just walk into my office one day. I said, I have this talent, sir. This is your website, my personal website, timakano.com. I can do it better. And it's okay, take the laptop. And then by the time he came back, he gave me something much better than what I had there before. So Akano is in my office today, even though he's still in part 3 in Unilab. It's working. So mentoring. So for those ones, their coconut have been cracked for them by God through me. So and that's why you have hundreds of other people doing a lot of silent things also. So you have to be bold enough to seek help, and then you have to be disciplined, because the day while he walked my office, I told him yesterday, 5 of them came, but only him survived. The other ones, they cut corners and I dropped them. They cheated me, I dropped them, but he was consistent. He didn't come to cheat me, he came to go into business with me, to develop his own talent. So of all the 5 of them from the same school, he's the only one who survived. So the youth have to be disciplined. They have lost money to a lot of young ones too. In fact, during COVID, I lost more than 50 million to a group of them that said, oh, we do this. At the end of the day, it was all hype. So it's 2 ways. But if I didn't sow a seed into them, I won't be able to harvest that today. So it's 2 ways. So for mentees, honesty is important. You must also be focused on what you want. And but for the mentors, it is those who are poor. They already have a lighter to multiply themselves. It's not everybody it's not everybody that say, okay, you, this young one, I want to be bigger than me. So that's what I tell them today, that I want you to be bigger than me. But it's not everybody who wants that. Some people want to remain permanently at the top. I always say, no, I don't want to be the richest man. I want to be the man who has produced the highest number of richest youths in Africa. So there's a 2-way thing. So, but good mentors are called to serve other people, to put them on their shoulder, and to ensure that they are taller than them. So if you see such people, stick to them. But if you see people who don't want you to be bigger than them, run away from them. Because when you even give them ideas, they are going to steal your ideas.